boogity. Let's go racing, boys.
Will pair up and draft with either a teammate or a convenient partner.
Larry, the same thing we're seeing today is what we saw with that 24 car. Really slow on the get-go. Doesn't seem to get up to speed very well.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon in the dual races with Trevor Bayne pushing him most of that race. Hated to see restarts.
I think Jeff Gordon, maybe he's drifting back in there to find Trevor Bayne in the 21 car.
In the qualifying race, Kurt Busch had help from Regan Smith the whole race long. Smith pushed into victory, and he has pushed Busch to lead lap 1.
See Michael Waltrip in the 15 car, Kyle Busch in the 18, a couple of Toyotas getting a pretty good run on the high side through 1 and 2 down to the backstretch.
Don't look back. pretty comfortable right here where these guys are, but man, back behind them, pack of wolves.
5 pairs of cars have broken away from the pack, where everyone else looks to find a drafting partner. And as they come off 4 and complete lap 2, NASCAR on Fox, and Daytona pay tribute to the man in black, Dale Earnhardt, on this, the 3rd lap of the race. May not be his 7 championships or all of his victories, but the advances in safety in NASCAR that followed that dark day in 2001.
This 2-car draft at the bottom of the racetrack. A.J. Allmendinger in the 43 car, Mark Martin in the 5. Saw these guys work together a lot in practice, and they were fast no matter which one was pushing the other.
Worked together a lot in practice, but I believe this may be the first time we've had them up in the front here fighting for the lead. And that's the way this race unfolds always. So many unexpected, and you never know who's going to rise to the top.
Allmendinger started 13th, Mark Martin 15th. They lead the Daytona 500. Oh, Kyle Busch!
Speed behind you, wave to 7.
Gets it down on the apron without further contact. Jostling further back, but no other collision.
That was luck.
And Rowdy Busch, winner of 24 races across NASCAR's top 3 series last year, has brought out the first caution of the day.
See what happened here up on the outside. Gets a shove from Michael there in the 15 car. Wrong place, wrong time.
Harvick on the inside of race leader A.J. Allmendinger as they restart double file. Harvick Chevrolet has help from Matt Kenseth's Ford. While Mark Martin stays glued to the back bumper of former road racer A.J. Allmendinger in the 43.
Yeah, immediately after that restart, we're seeing the same 2 driver tandems that we saw before the caution flag at the front of the field.
Now, folks at home, I know you would say, well, with these guys running that close together, wouldn't his engine get hot? That's been a big issue down here for the last several days, trying to be able to push a guy in front of you for long periods of time and not cook your engine. Something the drivers are really going to have to pay attention to.
For the lead, Harvick, past winner of the 500 and one of the best closers in the business. In the closing laps, you watch for that 29 to come through the field. He's trying to lead a lap here from A.J. Allmendinger. Not this one. The Ford stays out front.
But look at that wad of cars behind these top 6. I mean, they're 3 wide for 8 rows deep.
They're fighting for a position. I'm just not sure which one. And I don't think they are either. They're just trying to find somebody to help you get by all this if you can.
And you've got to have a partner, because one car pushing another can be several miles an hour faster than any single car all by itself. On the high side, Big Daddy Jeff Gordon beginning his drive for 5 for a 5th championship. Brian Vickers pushing a former teammate of Gordon's. He is back after a year's illness, cleared by doctors to drive after heart surgery, and nobody wants to win more than Vickers. Check that. Casey Kane in the 4 is the car pushing Jeff Gordon. His car painted identical to that of Brian Vickers. Different number, Kane in the 4. Now, Dale Jr. had to start this race from the back, but his 88's coming to the front. 8th place and coming.
We've seen these two guys. These two guys actually wrecked in practice. That was, oh, we got a smoker up in here. Somebody's got something blowing out. Who is it?
J.J. Yaley, who raced his way into the 500 with a fine drive in Thursday's qualifying race. Drifting to the middle of the pack and trailing smoke. Caution is out for the 2nd time.
Yeah, I'd say he's putting down some oil. Got to be careful here, boys, racing back to this caution.
Junior almost got turned around by Martin Truex.
See, no, I don't understand that. They didn't get the message. The caution was out. They kept racing.
When the caution comes out. Yeah, 10-4. I never heard NASCAR say it, man.
So Brad Keselowski, the new driver of the Blue Deuce for Roger Penske, leads them to the green flag. Bobby Labonte in the 47. Stephen Wallace, a rookie, in the 77. Terry Labonte, the 32. Paul Menard in the 27. Then Tony Stewart, Jamie McMurray, and David Ruderman. Let's crank it up. And worrisome. That's what restarts are here at Daytona.
You know, a lot of the guys that have been coming here for years, they kind of view the preliminary events as just practice. But on Sunday, the Daytona 500, usually think the veterans show up. Bobby Labonte, he's a veteran.
Got some Chevrolets, though, ganging up there on the outside. Paul Menard, remember, this is a 4th Richard Childress racing car for 2011, getting pushed by Tony Stewart in that 14 car.
Last year's winner slipping in the picture as well. Jamie McMurray in the 1 car with his teammate in tow, 42. Juan Montoya.
Joey Logano in the 20. Dale Jr., the 88, slipped to the inside, move up to 5th and 6th. Before they went green, Mark Martin looked aside at Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s tires and said everything looked fine.
Probably when he dropped down off the track coming to get that, when he realized the caution was out, may have picked up a lot of dirt and debris on his tires off the apron. That'll give you a false sense of a flat tire.
Jeff Gordon running down on the inside. Here's Matt.
Mike, he appreciated the help from the 4 of Casey Kane, but he's been looking for his new little buddy, the 21 of Trevor Bayne. But under that caution, Gordon had a lot of questions about all the unknown variables so far.
Does that mean we have to call Gordon the skipper?
Remember what that 20 was like. in that shootout practice.
Caution is out for the third time in the Daytona 500. Kevin Harvick appeared to lose an engine off turn number 2, and his car slowed up. There's Harvick's car going to the garage. Jeff Gordon got into the back of Robbie Gordon. We'll show you that in a bit. First, pit stops. Steve.
Mike, Tony Stewart said no handling issues whatsoever. He's going to get fuel only. Matt.
The 24, Jeff Gordon, making his way to his stall so that Alan Gustafson can take a look to make sure that there isn't any damage to that nose. There is some slight cosmetic damage. They've got some bear bond to fix that. 3 sets of fuel for the 24, Krista.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. made the call for fuel only. He also said he needs to know more about what that car in front of him is doing.
There's the race off pit road. Former IndyCar and Formula One star Juan Pablo Montoya over Jamie McMurray, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. picks up 9 spots coming off pit road. Here is the damage to Jeff Gordon's car. Here's what happened at turn 2.
You know, Larry and Mike, I'm almost thinking, I know there's smoke and it's probably pretty hard to see, but Trevor Bayne is right on him. I think he was afraid to slow down too quickly, afraid that Trevor might turn him around. So I think it was a combination of smoke and then somebody right on his back bumper.
Outside him, right in front of us, man, right in front of us is a blown engine. Get down to... We got in the back of the 7 pretty hard.
Leading the Daytona 500, another Richard Childress car. Regan Smith behind, and on the outside, Kurt Busch with Brian Keselowski. That's Brad's older brother outside in that white car, number 92. They came down here with 1 car, 1 engine, and 1 set of tires. They made the race. They picked up a sponsor. Ray Evernham said, I'll pay your tire bill. Penske offered him an engine that they couldn't use because it was too new to fit in their car, but he's in the 500.
Yeah, actually the crowd from home, Save My Fairgrounds, sent a little money down to get their name on Brian's car. So picked up a little bit here and there, but that discount tire is probably paying some pretty good bills for him right now.
Jamie McMurray, proud new dad of son Carter and the defending 500 champion. He's got the lead with Montoya behind him, and they're 3 wide to the stripe again. Who's going to lead this lap? Bowyer.
That 88 car, Larry, he just keeps inching closer to the lead, and we will know without a doubt when he takes it.
Junior Nation will let us know.
Oh, yeah.
Kurt Busch and Regan Smith going backwards in the high lane. Here comes Jeff Burton with Brad Keselowski on the bottom, the 31 and the 2.
Just remember, Dale Earnhardt Jr., through virtue of starting this race at the back of the field in 27 laps with 3 cautions, he's worked his way right there into the top 2.
Yeah, this, if you got to start in the back, it's not a bad place to have to do it. Always got the chance to draft your way right to the front, and that's what he's done.
9 different drivers have led this Daytona 500 as Bowyer hauls them around for a second time. McMurray and Montoya, and 2 fast forwards right behind them. David Reagan in the 6 and rookie Trevor Bayne in the 21 of the Wood brothers.
Just remember, David Reagan in that 6 car, that's a backup car that had to start at the rear of the field as well.
Riding with Mark Martin.
Looks pretty easy, doesn't it?
We know better.
Think you could drive a car, folks, at home 200 miles an hour?
Closer together than most people park.
Yeah, 200 miles an hour with somebody pushing.
Trouble, turn 3.
Big wreck.
Brian Keselowski, David Rudeman, Michael Waltrip, Matt Kenseth,
big
and
wreck.
half the field.
I see about 3 of the Hendrick cars there that's involved.
Mark Martin is there. I see him. There's a Biffle. Jimmy Johnson's laying over there. There's a 24 car. Looks pretty bad.
Brian Vickers limping around. And Mark Martin is part of it. Greg Biffle got a piece of it. Joe Nemechek's right front all torn up. The 9 of Marcus Ambrose.
Let's see if we can figure out what happened here, Larry. They're running awfully close together.
Watch the top right of your screen coming
right up here.
Michael into his teammate Rudeman.
Got Rudeman loose.
Right in front of Keselowski. Here comes Nemechek. Pow into Michael.
Look at, nope, didn't make it. Didn't make it.
Brian Keselowski, we just talked about, was involved. That white car up against the wall there.
There's Mark Martin down here, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon. My. Let's see if we can see anything. Well, there's not a whole lot to see. Michael just got into the back of the. Tony Stewart did the same thing to Michael in the Bud shootout. Got into him pretty hard and turned him around right there and got Michael with it.
And Darrell, everybody was going to the apron, but those cars sliding off 31 degrees of banking, that's where they're going to end up.
It's kind of an old saying down here. What goes down must come up. And you try to go around on the outside if you can.
Jimmy Johnson's 48 just barely got into the back of Matt Kenseth to do enough damage to the right front.
The old Aaron Stream machine, she's done.
7 Robert Richardson dropping down out of line and lets them all go.
We're actually hearing that he's got to drop to the back of the field because of a pit road speeding penalty, Robert Richardson Jr. in that 37 car.
Well, you know, if you, based on what Jeff Gordon said, the problem you have is this is a race. And some of these guys, when the green flag comes out, they race everybody. And that's what you get paid to do.
And as you say, Darrell, the safest place to be is out front, so let's get there.
Get on up there.
Stephen Wallace, a rookie, running in 4th place with one of the most experienced drivers at Daytona, Bobby Labonte. Now Labonte down to the middle and picks up Wallace's 77 once again. On the bottom comes Menard and Boyer coming through.
And not only is this his first Daytona 500, this is his first Sprint Cup Series start period. Stephen Wallace in the 77.
His dad, Rusty, the 1989 Series champion. Jimmy Johnson's drive for 6 consecutive championships has hit a pothole. Steve.
And Jimmy Johnson sits in his battered race car. Mike, 14 mechanics working on this car simultaneously. About the only part of sheet metal that isn't bent is the rear bumper and the deck lid. Heavy damage to the right side and to the front of this number 48 car for Jimmy Johnson. He stays in the race car.
Since he won the 500 in 2006, he's not finished better than 27. Paul Menard back to the lead with help from his Richard Childress teammate Clint Boyer.
And Clint Boyer in that 33.
Than it's been in the last several days.
Dave Blaney driving for Tommy Baldwin and Al Hankey on car in the wall, front straightaway, and it is Richardson, Robert Richardson, into the inside wall, coming toward the start finish line, and that will put us under caution for the 5th time.
Yeah, tied off the corner.
I just think that's right back to what I was saying about the track. I think it's given up some grip that these guys have had down here when it's been at night, been cool. This place gets slick in the daytime.
Single car crash for Richardson. Matt Kenseth will get the free pass. He'll come around and pick up one of the laps that he is down.
But Mike, you just mentioned it. He's leading it right now. Dave Blaney in that 36 car just had taken the lead. This was a team and a driver that had to wait to the second dual race to see if they were even going to make the Daytona 500. They came down here with no sponsor on that race car. Just got this sponsor done last night.
Here's what happened to the 37. Robert Richardson. Oof.
Sure glad they put that safer barrier down.
Have happened right here in the Daytona 500, which takes the green flag at the quarter pole. 50 laps down, 150 to go. Terry Labonte, for the first time since 2004, leads the Daytona 500.
The Labonte boys are having a pretty good day. Bobby is up there earlier, you know, fighting for the lead. Now Terry's brought him to the green flag. Dave Blaney's up there getting pushed by the 22 car.
Yeah, Kurt Busch has latched onto the back of that 36 car of Dave Blaney. You know, 2 drivers I'm very impressed with that they've not really flexed their muscle so far. Those 2 drivers in the outside line there, the 1 car of McMurray, the 42 car Montoya, they've not shown a lot of speed up until today.
I think they're just kind of playing that old possum game, you know.
Oh, Blaney lost his drafting partner, and now it's a trio on the inside lane. Menard has picked up Kurt Busch, who leads him across the stripe, and now it is Menard to the outside with Regan Smith going by to retake the lead. So if 2 cars are far better than 1, why not 3?
Well, you already heard, you can second guess, but you can't third guess. And that's really what you're doing when you're running behind the guy in front of you. You're sort of anticipating and second guessing where he's going to go. The third guy is just odd man out. He would be lost in the shuffle.
But if you watched the Daytona 500 a year ago, you did not see this style of racing. So what has changed? Well, one, since they resurfaced Talladega a few years ago, teams have been learning about this every time we've raced there. With this new surface that Darrell talked about in the pre-race, no bumps, no dips, perfectly smooth, a lot of grip, they're able to do it without upsetting another car. Plus, cooling systems in these cars have advanced so much.
500, Ryan Newman coming back to the front with Joey Logano. Martin Truex, the 56, with Carl Edwards. Kurt Busch with Regan Smith. And Casey Kane with Dale Earnhardt Jr. Let's look at the 2 Joe Gibbs cars that are not Joey Logano. They've been kind of idling along in mid-pack. Now, last time along, though, watch the 18 and the 11, Busch and Hamlin.
Boy, Kyle Busch's car is just very unstable. That looked like Michael when Michael turned him around earlier, and Kyle has been on some great adventures.
And I know this is in slow motion, but I think, as you saw a while ago with our telemetry, it's in the mid-190s that all that's going on there in the middle of the corner.
Now they are back at 22nd and 23rd, trying to stay out of the fray, as this race still has 111 laps to run. Krista.
Well, don't be alarmed yet. Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin, they are laying back in an effort to stay out of trouble. And you know, Kyle Busch will be the first to admit he can sometimes be a hothead, but keeping cool is a lesson for him and his car. That's what the team worked on in final practice. When and where to pass the baton and get the most air to the car.
I think it's kind of a double whammy. I don't think he likes to be pushed, and he's not a good pusher. And so I think he's really got himself in a dilemma here.
We're hearing that the spotter stand is like the trading floor on the New York Stock Exchange with all the deal making going on. The radio chatter is wild. The spotters are trying to be matchmakers while still trying to keep their drivers out of harm's way.
There you see Ryan Newman in the 39 car hooked back up with Joey Logano in the 20, trying to get by Kurt Busch and Regan Smith. But it's amazing, Kurt Busch and Regan Smith, you got the report that they had problems with their car, had to come back to pit road because they pretty much have been hooked up together the entire speed weeks. Here they're back up there leading the Daytona 500.
And listen, you don't race any differently. You know, we had some cars out of the race. I said earlier, you don't know that. You don't race any differently right now than if the whole field was out there racing. You're just racing your little crowd right here.
Among the cars that were crashed, Greg Biffle is back on track making laps. So is Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, David Rudiman, and Brian Vickers.
People always say, Mike, after a crash, they'll always say, well, maybe they'll take it easy. Now, they don't know.
No. Andy Lally in the garage, the rookie, out of the race. Richardson, Nemechek, Ambrose, Waltrip, Brian Keselowski, Harvick with engine trouble, also J.J. Yelin.
You know, Denny Hamlin in the 11 car, he did a 20-lap practice run the other day, and he told me after that, you saw Dave Blaney run over 200 miles an hour, but Denny Hamlin told me after being in front, being pushed for 20 laps, yeah, I was mentally drained, but my arms felt like they were about to fall out of my socket.
The most we saw water was about 255. Oil was about 255 as well, and that's when I would bail out.
That is the autopsy from Jeff Burton on his engine. He becomes the second Richard Childress car to fall by the wayside after his teammate Kevin Harvick.
There's Richard Childress there, and you better believe he's becoming a very nervous man.
You know he is. These engines, again, we are working them down here like they've never worked them before.
I would get it right back down and bail out.
I never thought I'd see over 9,000 RPM at Daytona, and that's where these things are living.
Now Burton talking about when the light came on. Their water temperature gauge has a light built in, kind of like the what we call the idiot light on your car, but it's predetermined it's set at a predetermined point, and when the light comes on, the driver knows he needs to breathe the car, get it out in clean air. Burton explaining he was doing that, but the engine appeared to let go anyway. I
just believe the weather has caught a lot of these guys out today. I tell you, I think they are seeing a lot of heat in the engines. There's a lot of heat in the track. Cars are not handling quite as good as they have all week. I think the weather is certainly playing havoc with some of these guys.
It's almost like the kiss of death for the 2011 Daytona 500 was being the chase in 2010. Almost all of those 12 guys have had a problem of some type or another.
They're going to test out the new point system.
The ambient temperature is nudging 80 degrees, and that's the first time in the 10 days of Speed Week that has happened. Warmest day of the week. Kurt Busch with Regan Smith, his new fastest friend, in front of the Daytona 500.
You're watching NASCAR on Fox.
The Daytona 500 on Fox is sponsored by Lowe's. Lowe's, let's build something together. By AARP. Join Jeff Gordon and AARP in the drive to end hunger today. And by Dodge.
One lap to halfway in the Daytona 500. Let's take an inside look at what's happening now in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, brought to you by Sprint and HTC Evo 4G. Clint Boyer has the fastest lap in the race, 200.5 miles per hour.
And you know what's interesting? We talked about you'll work with anybody. I don't think Trevor Bayne probably has run any laps with Robbie Gordon, and here they are leading the race.
Kurt Busch has led the most laps so far, 14. Fuel your inner NASCAR fan with live in-car audio and real-time stats on your NASCAR Sprint Cup mobile and the new HTC Evo 4G, only from Sprint at sprint.com/speed. Robbie Gordon has been leading the 500 with a push from Trevor Bayne, and oh my goodness, here they all come.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to last, because here comes Regan Smith in that 78 and his buddy Kurt Busch in that 22.
But did you see what Trevor Bayne did? He got way back off of Robbie Gordon. He didn't want to go in that corner 3 wide, pushing Robbie Gordon. Felt like that might not be safe. That is using got a lot of intelligence in that 21 car.
Well, it's been 5 years since Richard Childress' team lost 2 engines in 1 race. Here's Dick Berggren.
But it has happened today, and there are still 2 Childress cars out there, and they are fast. Clint Boyer, Paul Menard. Their engine's going to be okay, do you think?
I hope so. We, you know, this is we're asking a lot out of the engines here for sure, and these are tough situations. You know, to run it all, you got to run them 240 or so, and you know, that may be a little more than we need to be running them. We thought we were well within our limits, but maybe not. But listen, I'm proud of everybody. Everybody busted their butt to come down here and put their best foot forward. We ran well all week, and you know, I'm proud of everybody. I'm disappointed, exceptionally disappointed, but I'm really proud of everybody's effort.
Ran well enough. He won his qualifying race on Thursday.
Jeff Burton out of the 500 after winning on Thursday. Last year, 12 drivers made the chase for the Sprint Cup. Jimmy Johnson won his 5th straight championship. How are those 12 chasers doing today? Not too good. But for Carl Edwards and Kurt Busch, it's been a long haul for the drivers who made the chase last year.
Yeah, that's the order they finished. Of course, Jimmy Johnson winning his 5th consecutive Sprint Cup Series championship.
Just past halfway, 99 laps to go.
And remember, I think everyone's aware of the fact.
Juan Pablo Montoya has spun off turn 4 to put us under caution for the 8th time today. He didn't hit anything and continued on to pit road. Caution is out. Dick Berggren.
Well, it's not enough to get on pit road fast, Mike. They've told Trevor Bayne not to use his brakes hard because that locks the shock absorber, which makes it hard to get the front tire off. Steve.
4 tires for Ryan Newman this time, Dick. Let's go to Matt.
Ever since the damage to Kurt Busch's nose, he's lost the handling of the nose of this 22 car. Right side tires only, and they are going to try to top it off of fuel.
Right side tires for Bayne and for Paul Menard. Looks like Menard will get 4, as will A.J. Allmendinger.
Really long stop for Trevor Bayne in that 21 car, even getting just right side tires.
Robbie Gordon, the first off pit road with Kurt Busch and Ryan Newman. Watch the 42, the target car. Jamie McMurray behind him. Montoya goes around, and what a save at 200 miles an hour. He drives it onto pit road and to the caution flag.
World class right there.
Ran into one. Pablo Montoya trying to get some air, running hot. Let's rejoin Darrell, Larry, and Mike.
Steve Wallace got the free pass on this, the 8th caution flag of the day. We're back under green. Robbie Gordon made a pit stop and held on to the lead. He and Ryan Newman drafting together, trying to hang on to it. But once again, Kurt Busch and Regan Smith, an odd couple pairing because it's a Dodge and a Chevrolet, have vaulted out front.
But they've been this way throughout practice. They did it all day long in the Gatorade Dual qualifying race on Thursday, and he knew he had a great partner there.
Yeah, they have a lot of confidence in each other, and Regan's a good kid. He's a good player.
And watch at the bottom of your screen, the 88 and the 14 have found each other. Stewart and Earnhardt Jr. were talking on the radio about linking up, hooking up, and trying to get to the front. We'll see if they can as we crank it up. They come to the stripe. Kurt Busch, leader by a narrow margin over Martin Truex. 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 because the new surface at Daytona International Speedway smooth enough, no bumps, no whoops, so that one driver can push another and have the advantage of 2 cars worth of torque and horsepower to make them much faster than any single car could be by itself.
Yeah, there's so many things you don't have to worry about. Don't have to worry too much about handling. The track is fixed that with the new surface. Don't have to worry about tires. Goodyear fixed that with the great tires. And here we are 3 wide for the lead off turn 4.
Boyer up the middle. Truex on the high side. Busch on the bottom. Trevor Bayne gives a little breathing room there, and Boyer vaults back to the lead. He and Busch have traded back and forth the honor of leading the most laps, and whoever does gets a bonus point toward the Sprint Cup Series.
And Larry, you talk about ECR engines, and here we got the 33 and the 27. They're out of the Childress stables, just like the 29 and the 31, where they're running fine. They don't seem to be having any issues at all.
Well, and remember, Regan Smith, the 78 car, has that engine package. But Darrell, I'm so impressed with that young Trevor Bayne. You talked to him on the pace laps, 20 years old yesterday in the 21 car. Whenever they get 3 wide, he gives some breathing room to that car in front of him.
Yeah, he backs out of a hole. If he sees something he doesn't like, he's smart enough to know to get out of there.
Kurt Busch trying to lead this lap. Robbie Gordon on the outside with Joey Logano, and Busch leads another one. This may not be the most physically demanding race of the year, but it is certainly the most mentally taxing. We asked last year's winner Jamie McMurray about that.
Mentally draining. This will be as bad as it gets, and it's going to be worse this year. It's going to be twice as bad this year as it was last year, because it's about 2 cars being hooked together, and you're not only driving your car, but you're trying to know what the guy in front of you is going to do and also what everyone around you is going to do. I know after the 150, I laid down at 8 o'clock at night, and I told Christy, I was like, I'm going to sleep. And she said, well, you didn't really do anything today. You know, all you had was the 150. I said, I'm really tired. I said, that's mentally draining what we did today. And she kind of giggled, and she's like, wow, I can't wait to see how you feel Sunday.
Apparently sounds tired just talking about it.
He was tired anticipating it. I think that's what it was. You know, we're talking about tires and tire wear. Back in I think it was Tiny Lund drove for the Wood Brothers. He won the Daytona 500 on one set of tires.
1963, the first of the Wood Brothers' 4 victories at Daytona. A.J. Foyt, Cale Yarborough, and the great David Pearson in '76 also carried a similarly painted number 21 to victory. And Trevor Bayne was pretty giddy last evening when he got to meet David Pearson for the first time.
Heck, I've met Pearson 100 times, and I get kind of giddy every time I meet him, too. Such a great driver.
Kurt Busch, Regan Smith, Clint Boyer, Paul Menard, Robbie Gordon out front of the Daytona 500 on Fox. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. Everything we've learned making tires for one of racing's most grueling proving grounds inspires what we roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Martin Truex, Trevor Bayne out in front of Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, Mark Martin, Ryan Newman. Now watch Junior and Tony Stewart. Watch what happens between them and then listen to Junior's reaction.
No pressure, clear by about 20 back there. Clear by 20.
These two are the best of friends racing nose to tail. Stewart finished second to Dale Jr. in the 500 in 2004, and they are favorite drafting partners in the Saturday races here.
We need to get back away from him, let him get slowed down, and then we need to smoke by him and get on. Fine.
So they're just talking strategy. Get off of him, get a good run, and just go blowing by. And that's what the plan was. But Junior, I've heard him say all race long here, I don't want to be up there in all that fray right now. I want to be back here where I got a little bit of a safety zone.
But they're back in 16th and 17th, Larry.
Name me another sport where you communicate strategy with the guy you're trying to beat for the biggest event of the year. I mean, we're seeing it all over this racetrack all day long.
I mean, you steal signs in baseball, you get a pitch in the ear. Sure.
Oh, you'll play nice right now. I wouldn't depend on it at the end of the day.
We talked earlier about Regan Smith, who has been with the leaders all day. Now his number 78 is out of that lead pack and back at 8th place. Steve?
And Mike, Larry just talked about the understand the caution out. Back to you, Mike.
Yellow flag as Travis Kvapil limps onto pit road. And back to Steve.
And Mike, you were just talking about Regan Smith in the 78 and the fact that they have an engine program with ECR. They just told Regan, do not run part throttle. Repeat, no part throttle.
Junior and Joey Logano to the top 10. Green flag. 72 laps to go.
Another thing I just heard, there's a lot of concern, obviously, in the children's camp. Don't get the engines hot. You've got to keep changing positions because you're getting too much heat in the engines. No part throttle. Don't get them too hot. Nurse these things home. Being out front doesn't hurt anything.
One straw that has not been afraid to stir the drink is the orange number 7 of Robbie Gordon. He has no teammates in this race. There's Gordon right in the middle, now sweeping up high. His teammates are whoever he finds and whoever he latches onto. He's worked with just about everybody today. He's found his way to the front a couple of times.
And he's worked with just about every manufacturer over the last several years. And now he's in a Dodge, and those Dodges have a lot of steam, look to me like.
He's got a Penske engine, and right now he's getting pushed by a Penske car, Brad Keselowski, in that 2 car, the blue car.
Look at these guys, man. They're getting a little crazy here. They don't want that lead pack to get away. 99 was down to Carl Edwards down the apron. 22 at Busch down on the apron. Getting a little racy, boys.
Gosh, Darrell, it's 71 laps to go, not 7 laps to go.
Got to get up there and get in the front. I think that's what these guys all want to do. Watch these guys coming through the trioval right here.
Watch the 99 of Carl Edwards. Right behind the orange car, Robbie Gordon.
Right in here. He's coming.
Now he went down on the yellow line, and
look,
whoa!
He's turned plumb sideways right there.
Then he got knocked below the double yellow line.
And that was his teammate David Reagan in this 6. Now Sprint Cup director John Darby says putting your your tires on the yellow line is legal. The yellow line. Kenseth has crashed hard in the trioval. He's climbed out of the car. He is okay. He was being bump drafted by Greg Biffle. You're riding with Biffle.
Guy in front of Matt can't pick a lane. Easy, easy.
54 laps to go. And still 27 cars on the lead lap.
Boy, Dale Jr., he just forced Trevor Bayne up off the bottom there and said, I'm coming through, dude. You're going to have to move out my way.
And for a minute, he didn't have a dance partner. And then those 2 Gibbs cars, Kyle Busch in the 18, Joey Logano on the 20, jumped right down behind him.
But the 21, I mean, he has fallen like a rock because of that. He lost his momentum. He's in the middle back there behind Martin Truex right there.
Plenty of time. And Larry, one more pit stop?
Yeah, whether you stop that time or not, still one more stop.
Say this, do you feel it? Do you feel it? The intensity is starting to really ramp up.
3 wide, about 8 deep. Here they come.
Mike, you just talked about him. Mark Martin in that 5 car pushing Kurt Busch to the lead. He was in that big wreck that we had back on lap 29. And how about Kyle Busch in the 18? He was our first caution back on lap 4, spun out in front of half the field.
Man, there's some nervous cars back in there, Larry. I see a lot of cars shaking around, moving, getting loose, getting in the corner. Woo.
Everybody positioning and trying to find a drafting partner.
Now that's a pair. That would be a good pair right there.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. with Regan Smith.
78. Like that little combination.
We got 2 of the Roush Fenway cars that's left in the race. David Reagan in the 6, Carl Edwards in the 99, starting to line up there on the bottom of the racetrack.
58 lead changes in this Daytona 500, 2 shy of the record, as Dale Earnhardt Jr. brings them across with Regan Smith. Kyle Busch and Joey Logano, teammates.
Regan Smith has been a player ever since we got here. He has been at the front of the pack, sitting in a winning spot a couple of times. Good shape right now. Hooked up to the back of that 88 car, Dale Jr.
His best career finish, Smith's best career finish, 12th 3 times. Now, he was the first to cross the line in 2008 at Talladega, but was judged to have passed below the yellow line, and the win was taken away. Tony Stewart went to victory lane.
You know, a couple of drivers that raced against each other a lot in sprint cars. They're starting to team up there. Casey Kane in the 4, Tony Stewart in the 14.
Over the next, I don't know, 15 laps or so, you'll find out who's got what. These guys been riding around a little bit, maybe saving a little bit, making a charge.
Look at the closing rate. Look how fast the cars pushing each other went past Logano and Busch when they were not pushing each other.
But what I'm seeing, DW, is now people are starting to find different partners than what they work with most of the race.
Yes, sir. It looks that way, Larry, especially these front 2 here. And then there's a Brad Keselowski in there, and he's got Martin Boyer right behind him, and whoa, that's a little edgy getting in the
37 laps to go.
You know, Darrell, you talked about that caution, letting them catch their breath. I've got to believe and get reports there was a lot of deal making going on during those caution laps as well.
Oh, yeah, that was a great time to set something up because you had time to talk about it and think about it. So, yeah, there's people that are saying, will you run with me? Well, I don't know. I haven't run with you all day. But now is when you got to go, I'm telling you.
McMurray up the middle with Mark Martin.
Mark in tow.
And left Regan Smith in the 78 out to dry.
Mark's one of those kind of guys you don't know what he's got until you come down the end of the race, and then you kind of find out by surprise.
36 laps to go. Let's crank it up. Denny Hamlin out in front with Ryan Newman. And parts of this race are beginning to look more and more like a middle school dance all the time. During the caution, Carl Edwards asked the 18, Kyle Busch, to draft with him. Busch politely declined because Trevor Bayne had asked him first.
It's like a prom dance.
Will you dance with me? No, I can't. I came with him. Sorry. Well, it takes two to tango. But look at Kyle's car, even following somebody. It's kind of moving all over the place. Look at his hands in there. I mean, that is anybody else would get it. Look at that. He let go of the steering wheel to catch it.
Kept him from wrecking.
But Mike, I think to follow up, it's like, you know, everyone else's rear bumper is pretty solid. I think with all the damage there, his just moves a lot and it gets him squirrely.
And that stuff on the back bumper is like Velcro. When Clint Bowyer got up against him, you see how much of it rubbed off on Boyer's bumper. Not good.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88, he has found a new friend. Dave Blaney in that 36 car sitting up there inside the top 10. In fact, we're riding with Dale Earnhardt Jr. now in the 88.
Blaney's about to cost his sponsor a lot of money. You saw that on the taillight panel. If he finishes top 10, the kids eat free. He's up to 7th. And we've got a new leader, David Reagan. Second generation driver from Unadilla, Georgia, is out in front with Trevor Bayne. Pushing. Here come Busch and Smith again.
It's like David Reagan and Trevor Bayne have decided they can go pretty good here. It's good logistics for the 6 car.
I think any driver can go fast with Trevor Bayne pushing him the way it's panned out down
Well, you heard him tell Carl that.
And the 36 Blaney, the slowest speed car to make it into the 500. And he's got Dale Earnhardt Jr. as his wingman.
Boy, you can just see these guys, even when the car's not driving good, handling good, they're going to stay in there no matter what, because you can't back off now.
Not now.
Less than 25 to go.
3 wide off of turn 2.
Busch has found his calling. It's to be the pusher, this time for Clint Bowyer.
Look at Ryan Newman in that 39 car. He's going to run out of real estate getting pushed by Hamlin in the 11.
Now, that was good communication because 11 could have wrecked him right there, but they worked together very well.
Junior looking for a new partner, or does he just make the switch there with Blaney and move up front?
56.
Truex and Tony Stewart almost got spun.
You're going to have to start slowing down at the end. Start slowing down at the end.
Now Truex will not be penalized because he arrests his speed coming down pit road. NASCAR will not penalize him for taking that evasive action.
He had that same experience in practice with Dale Jr. They spun off of that corner and wasn't so lucky.
Watch the right side of your screen, and the Napa car just gets turned off the bumper of Labonte.
Thought he had it saved and was going to be able to get back up in the track, but he was afraid to try it.
He'll be a straightaway or more behind, but he's still on the lead lap.
But yeah, he'll be losing probably about 15 to 20 miles per hour per lap to that pack up there.
Clint Boyer and Kyle Busch, a Chevy and a Toyota, lead the Daytona 500. Inside 20 laps to go. And still a tight pack at the front of the field. 8 cars battling for the win in the Daytona 500. Ryan Newman holding back. The 11 of Denny Hamlin pushing. Here comes David Reagan and Trevor Bayne in the 21. And on the outside, Clint Boyer and Kyle Busch.
Yeah, don't.
South.
Full car in the wall. Caution out.
Turn 4. Caution's out.
Casey Kane into the wall, and we're told that the defending champion of the 500, Jamie McMurray, is down a cylinder.
Yeah, he went by here sounding really, really bad, really ragged.
Watch the number 4 of Casey Kane. It's like Carl Edwards knew something was wrong. He got off Kane, and Kane went up and into the wall.
Looked like Kane had a
trying to win the 500, and green flag with 15 to go.
It's all about timing now. Got to time it where you're out front, coming to get the white, coming to get the checker. What I mean by that is you want to find a tango, you want to find a partner, you kind of lay back, and make that big speed on the last lap, go by everybody and win the sucker.
Newman with the 11 of Hamlin, last year's series runner-up. And here's Newman's boss, Tony Stewart, co-owner of Stewart Haas Racing with Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88.
That's 2 drivers that have been dance partners for a long time, a number of years, Stewart and Earnhardt Jr.
I think there's magic right there in Stewart and Earnhardt if they got the speed.
Kurt Busch with Regan Smith. They have worked together so well all through the speed weeks. We have a little bit of Kurt Busch audio for you.
So 78, we'll follow each other up through this pack. It's time to stick together. This is all we got. Benford just had that conversation with him. He wants to be the pusher. Wants you to lead the way up through there. I need to push at some point, to maintain the pace to get us up in there, cool him down, and then he can push again. Okay, 10-4.
Remember in 07, Kurt Busch pushed his then teammate Ryan Newman to win the 500.
Well, remember here in the 150s, the 78 pushed the 22 across the finish line to win his 150. So, yeah, these guys know how to work together, and they got fast cars.
3 times Busch has been the runner-up in the 500.
And Kurt Busch can become the first driver in the history of this speedway to win the Budweiser Shootout, the Gatorade Duel, and the 500 in the same speed weeks.
Stephen Wallace has had a great race up till now. He's on pit road with 13 to go.
Looks like it could be right front. It's I think he's got a right front tire cut down, looks like.
Newman Hamlin. Chevy Toyota. And on the outside, Boyer Busch Chevy Toyota. 2 Fords, the 6 and the 21 for Reagan and Bayne. What will be the winning combination 13 laps from now?
And they're wondering the same thing. They don't really know for sure right now. You know what you want to do. You know what you'd like to do, but things can change so quickly. You got to be willing to make a change and go with the best shot.
And on the inside, here comes Stewart and Earnhardt, 2 Chevrolets. The 14 and the 88.
Listen to that engine. That thing is singing at 9,000 RPM around here at 200+ miles an hour.
Darrell, it looks like what right now, Ryan Newman in the 39, Hamlin in the 11, coming 11 to go. That yellow line, they're not going to move off of it. They're going to stay right at the bottom of this racetrack.
And all 3 of our Pizza Hut picks are up there in the top half dozen.
And we've seen it, and I've heard it from everybody that's been leading on the last lap coming to the checkered. I felt like a sitting duck. The question is, can you get that duck lined up?
Last Saturday, a week ago Saturday night, Ryan Newman was in that position in the Budweiser Shootout. He was out front. He did not win it. Hamlin went under him, but below the yellow line. Kurt Busch went around the outside and got the win.
I think what's going to affect the outcome of this race is going to be who can stay behind who the longest. Do they have to step out like you see Dale Jr. right there? He's trying to get some air to the radiator. you're probably going to burn it down right here. If it starts blowing water out, you're just going to have to let it blow water out. This is for all the marbles right here.
I'd say with 10 to go, just block that water temperature gauge
Don't even
out.
look. Forget the gauges. Run it till it blows.
A record-setting Daytona 500 in a number of categories. And I don't think we've seen the last lead change. 69 so far. 9 times the 500 has been decided by a last lap pass.
And you know, normally a driver would be saying, leave me alone. Don't talk to me anymore. I got to concentrate. You can't do that here today. That spotter has got to stay in your ear.
Clint Boyer in the 33, Kyle Busch in 18. They keep trying to look to the outside. They keep testing the waters out there.
Now with 10 laps to go, look at the red car, Stewart. Have he and Earnhardt drifted back, or are the front 4 moving away from them?
Well, I think they're trying to figure out the timing. That's what I was saying about having a head of steam coming to get the checkered flag. If you can time it right, blow by those guys, you got a chance of winning this thing.
2 in front of him. 2 back from you, no pressure in front of him. 2 back from you, lane higher. 2 back from you, lane higher. 5 in front of him.
14 and 88 spotters.
I think the element of surprise, you know, that where did they come from? And I think that's what the spotters are really going to have to be watching here and telling their drivers.
Lap car, Jamie McMurray, 7 cylinders for McMurray, continuing to log laps. Eight laps to go.
Plus, one thing we haven't seen, very little blocking. But at the end of this race, to win the Daytona 500, you're probably going to see some blocking.
You better believe it.
8 cars packed together once again.
These guys right now are trying to set everything up. They're thinking about where do I want to go and what do I want to do. And
we listen to Denny Hamlin.
Get the 18, just push, don't pass. Yeah, I'm screaming at them to stay in line.
Hamlin lost touch with Newman there for a bit, and look how quickly the outside column moved when that happened. Boyer and Busch to the front.
And look at Smith in the 78, Kurt Busch in the 22. A lap ago, they had almost lost touch with that top 8. They're on the high side.
That's because they were making the exchange, which put Smith in front of Busch, the 78-22. And now Stewart and Earnhardt have fallen back to 7th and 8th.
I think it's going to really come down to, are these things going to start blowing water out of them? Because they're going to get hot if you don't make the exchange.
Now it's a 10-car jam session, Matt.
Mike, Kurt Busch, he back-timed how many laps were left 3 laps ago. He told his spotter, Chris Osborne, we've got to make the exchange now. And then you saw them fade to the back, now working their way back to the front.
Oh, Stewart and Busch made a little contact there as Stewart and Earnhardt had a head of steam and almost ran out of racetrack.
And that cost him a little bit of ground because he had to jump out of the throttle, Tony Stewart did.
It really hurt.
Here comes everybody.
But how about these 2 new players there? Bobby Labonte in the 47, Robbie Gordon in the 7. They're in the middle of this pack.
This is anybody's race right at this point.
And now there are 12. 6 pairs of cars, one of whom in 5.5 laps is going to win the Daytona 500.
Here comes Trevor Bayne. He and David Reagan are hooked up coming around the bottom. I like the bottom.
And Darrell, I don't see how they can do any more swapping. You better stay where you're at till you get to turn 4 coming to the checker.
Yep.
Catching that group, David Reagan and Trevor Bayne just laid down the fastest lap of this Daytona 500. 44.66 seconds.
Yeah, the sun's gone down a little bit. It's cooled off a little bit. This is absolutely max speed now, and nobody's holding back now.
And here they come again. Bayne in the 21, Reagan in the 6.
Look at the run, that 11 and that 39. Hamlin and Newman are getting on the high side, and that's where Reagan in the 6 and Bayne in the 21 goes to the high side.
Trevor Bayne has such a good sense about where the guy in front of him is going to go. What a great pusher he is. 3 wide right here at the line. Can they make it?
4 laps to go.
The The 33 of Boyer, the 18 of Kyle Busch, they're blocked. They can't go anywhere right now because they're 3 wide in front of them.
6 times a driver has scored his first sprint. Oh! Smith gets turned in front of Boyer and Newman and Hamlin.
Keep coming. Caution's out now. Wave them off.
That's because Smith got a little bit of a gap between he and Busch, and Busch slammed into him.
You could see that starting to happen.
Yeah, that was. That's when they went in turn 1. I said, can they make it?
And Ryan Newman's attempt to win his second Daytona 500 may be thwarted right here. Regan Smith's car looks remarkably intact.
The right side's really in bad shape.
And here it is from the blimp. Watch the bottom of your screen, 78-22.
Watch this gap that the 78 gets off the corner here now. Now, Kurt Busch says he's getting a push from Tony. He slams into, he didn't get hooked up smooth. He slammed into the back of the 78, and that just turned him into the outside wall.
Green flag.
Perfect. Good hesitation. Now if they can get hooked up and push.
And Tony timed it a little better, but can Bobby Labonte get up there to help Tony Stewart, or is he a man alone?
He's in no man's land. I just don't know if he can hang out there.
But look at the 2 Busch brothers, Kurt Busch in the 22 and Kyle Busch in the 18, working the high side.
I'm hearing they're going, oh, we got a car around. Got a car around right
Bobby
there.
Gordon saves it.
But the 6 is being black flagged, passing before the start-finish line.
And a car on the wall.
Newman again.
Ryan Newman hit the wall.
Oh, no, Junior.
Truex and Junior.
Oh, no, and here's Truex.
Caution is out.
Dadgum.
Caution is out there, yeah.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., Martin Truex tied up in that one with Ryan Newman. And the caution is out with 2 to go.
Mike,
and here is...
Yeah, let's look at this restart because this is crucial.
Watch the 6 of David Reagan. He is the leader right there on the outside. He must maintain lane position to the start-finish line for this to be a legal start. When he changes lanes, he has violated NASCAR procedure, and he'll get a black flag.
They timed it perfectly. They just went too soon.
Yes.
They just needed to wait a few more seconds. And then back in here, it just gets wadded up.
Tony Stewart was just a sitting duck right there with no help.
He gets in right here, which is good. But here comes Robbie Gordon with a head of steam. And Tony had filled the hole that Robbie was going to try to go in. Robbie almost saves it.
So Gordon's down and off the racetrack. What happens behind them? A.J. Allmendinger got into Ryan Newman, who got into the wall, who collected Truex, came across, and Junior spun.
Yeah, it's like some drivers were checking up, some were not.
Won the pole for the Indy 500. He's won the IRL championship, twice the Sprint Cup championship. He's won everything at Daytona.
47 you. Still with you. Bottom.
And coming through the middle, Kurt Busch. Now down to the inside.
Bobby Labonte in that 47 gave Trevor Bayne a heck of a push. Now all they can do is try to hug the bottom of the racetrack and protect.
I like what I tell you, that 22 though was coming in with a head of steam, and Juan Pablo right on him. Looked like Tony and Mark might have a, I don't know if they got enough time to get back up there or not. I don't think they do.
Dale Jr. checked and released at the infield care center. They'll face the white flag when they come around to decide the 53rd Daytona 500. Rookie Trevor Bayne in his second Sprint Cup start will lead them to a white flag with Bobby Labonte. Here comes Kurt Busch and Juan Montoya. Carl Edwards in 5th.
And we know Kurt Busch and Montoya is going to make a move. DW, when will they make it?
I don't think they're going to make it till turn 4. I mean, we keep hearing about I'm a sitting duck when I'm leading this thing. So I guess that makes the 21 a sitting duck right now. But We'll see here that 22 knows how to win from that position. That's where he won the Bud Shootout from.
Edwards and Gilliland down to the inside, trying to.
Where did that 34 come from?
Trying to spoil the party.
Oh my gosh.
They spoiled the party for Kurt Busch and Montoya in here. They come through turn 4.
Gilliland, former pole sitter of the 500. Edwards has room underneath. Now he pushes Trevor Bayne.
It's over. Trevor Bayne is going to win the Daytona 500.
Unbelievable.
Happy birthday, Trevor Bayne, 20 years old.
Are you kidding me? What? That was awesome. That was awesome, Trevor. You are the man, buddy. You are the man. Everybody coming inside, congratulating you here. Awesome job.
Saw Leonard Wood down on pit road where he stood in 76 when Pearson won it. There's Leonard, who with Glenn and Delano, they're the Wood brothers. Oh my goodness. First win in 10 years for what is now a part-time team out of Stewart, Virginia and Concord, North Carolina. The Wood brothers return to victory lane at Daytona with 20-year-old Trevor Bayne.
That is a life-changing experience right there, buddy, even at 20 years old.
And what a great representative for our sport. 20-year-old kid, well-spoken. Donnie Wingo. I love Donnie Wingo. He's one of those old school
right
guys.
Here, bud. This is all you right here. This is all you. Are you kidding me? This is all you. Do yourself. Do your thing right here. I mean, you know, if you want to go out in the grass, you can do that too.
Hey, Mike, he's saying, I think this is how you do it.
And he stops for the flag. That start finish. No. Remember, he got tied up in a crash on Thursday. They had to do a lot of work to keep this car in the 500 and not go to a backup. The red, the white, the gold numbers look just like the Mercury that Pearson drove into victory lane after finishing the race in the grass in 1976 after a collision with Richard Petty in turn 4.
Look at this celebration. This is unbelievable. This is fairy tale stuff. This is like once upon a time.
The glass slipper fit.
It did, man. It did.
Watch the spoiler, watch the spoiler.
Watch the spoiler. Yeah, right.
Oh, my word. Can you believe it? Oh, yes.
It is the 5th Daytona 500 win and the 98th career win for the Wood brothers, as Trevor Bayne becomes the 2nd youngest race winner in Sprint Cup Series history.
Good job, man. Huh?
Now they'll point him to victory lane. Oh, by the way, Carl Edwards finished 2nd, David Gilliland 3rd, Bobby Labonte 4th, and Kurt Busch rounded out the top 5. Trevor Bayne becomes the 35th different driver to win the Daytona 500.
Promotional considerations provided by Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bayne at age 20 in his 2nd race ever at the Cup level, and he'll find his way to victory lane as we welcome you live on Fox to the Sprint post-race show from the Daytona 500. His hero Jeff Gordon, and on a record-setting day at the Daytona 500, Trevor the hero. Let's go down live to victory lane.
into a race car has dreamt of this moment. But what happens when you're a kid yourself? Just 20 years old yesterday. Travis, I'm going to say some words to you. You're a Daytona 500 winner. Has it sunk in?
No, I keep thinking I'm dreaming. I really do. I mean, man, we said a prayer before, and, you know, we pray a lot and we expect a lot of things, but this just shows how powerful God is. And, man, I'm so thankful for the job that these guys did on this race car because it's unbelievable. I mean, this thing is our first 500. Are you kidding me? To win our first one, our second ever Cup race, I mean, this is just incredible. I mean, I can't thank the guys that worked with me all day enough. I mean, you know, there were 10, 15 different drivers that pushed us. Carl helped us there to get across the line. I don't know what happened with David there at that one point, but wow, this is unbelievable. I mean, these guys, Ford Motorcraft, the Wood Brothers. How cool is it to see the Wood Brothers back there in victory lane? We got Leonard over here.